All right, why don't I jump on into it then? MSP process, we do a lot of different things, a lot on the security side, a lot on the communication side, automation side as well. But kind of the big focus today will be more on the security side with this little partnership with CyberFox, because now they can obviously offer you guys, part of the CyberFox billing and their contracts, they can offer you MSP process so that you guys have a really nice, strong, and broad spectrum way to verify the identity of your inbound calls. Client calls into your help desk. How do we know who we're speaking to? How do we know it's not a bad actor impersonating one of your client's caller ID, which is super easy to do? Replicating their clients' voices, where literally, as long as you call someone, get their voicemail, you can throw it into these AI voice replicators and sound just like an end user. So, giving your technicians a really easy ability that's not going to impact the flow of the call, that will slow things down to turn around and say, hey, Mr. End User, I'm going to send you a Microsoft Authenticator push, or Duo, or Teams, or SMS code, or email, or the list goes on and on. You can even do a voice call if you want to have a little robot call the client with a code that they can then provide to your technician. So kind of the key to smooth end user verification is, sure, you might get some clients that say, Tony, you know me, why are you doing this? Just like, let's move on. You just got to make it part of your practices because it's one of those things for compliance that's starting to become a requirement. And we want to make it easy so it takes seconds to do, won't slow down the call, but you'll have a nice logged note in your ticket that says, Andrew Salmanis verified this user at this day and time using the Duo Authenticator app. And only the buttons here will appear in your PSA that are relevant to that end user. So if they don't have Duo, the button won't be there. So it won't cause that confusion. And something I should have said in the start, we integrate with a whole bunch of different PSAs. Here you're looking at ConnectWise Manage. I'm in a ticket or a contact level. You're going to have the little MSP process pod. Same thing with Autotask. It's called obviously an Insight if you're an Autotask user. You get all the same features and functionality, but it's called an Insight. It's a little bit more compressed because that's the space they give you. Same thing, Halo, same idea. Looks the same as ConnectWise. So these are all PSAs that support iframe so that you can have these third-party apps inside the PSA. But then there's PSAs we integrate with that don't support iframes, like the Synchros, the SuperOps, the Zendesk, the Kaseya BMS. I think Freshdesk actually does support iframe, which we integrate with now as well. So it'll look like ConnectWise and Halo there. But all these PSAs that don't support iframe, first of all, I would say go to your rep at that PSA and start pushing them to try and support it because it's just going to make your life easier with these third-party vendors. But you'll just work in that case from MSP process. It'll pull in those contacts. So, it would pull in your contacts from Zendesk or SuperOps or Kaseya BMS. And when you're on that contact, you'll still get the same functionality. You'll still get our little pod, but it's from within our system. And it'll still log everything you're doing to your ticket notes in Synchro, in Zendesk, and SuperOps, etc. But it's just one more place you have to go to. So not as smooth, but still you have the ability to do so. And something we're working on right now as well for these non-iframe PSAs is a browser extension. So the idea is, if you're in that PSA that doesn't have the iframe, you'll have the browser extension that will pop down a pod. It'll still do all the same stuff. And even too, for a lot of people in Autotask tell me, hey, we're only able to support 9 iframes at a time. It would be really nice if we didn't have to take up the real estate. So that little browser extension will be another perfect option where you're in a ticket in Autotask, you click the pop down from the extension, and our pod will be right there for you. Front and center, top of your screen, doesn't take up one of your insights. But long story short, we integrate with all these different PSAs. If there's one you come across that is not on our list, just let us know. We also integrate with M365. So, those non-PSA users or non-integrating partners today, we can just connect with your 365 to pull in all your contacts. So again, you can access the contact list from 365. You get our little pod right from within the system. You can still do your verifications and your secure data send and your tech verification and all the same stuff. But, coming back to the verification stuff, it's as simple as it looks. You click the button, you're on the phone with the client, you say, hey, Mr. Customer, I just sent you a push over to, in this case, I clicked the Duo icon. The client will then on their cell phone get a little pop-up. There it is from Duo. The client just, they use biometrics. So I used Face ID. They click approve. As soon as they click that approve, in the pod, you'll see it says verified. It goes from red to green. And again, it logs to your ticket notes, everything you do in our system to your PSA. Microsoft Authenticator is really nice as well. It's set up through GDAP policy and relationships, so very quick and easy to onboard. Should be able to do it from the admin side in about 5 minutes to get this fully implemented. And really, honestly, the onboarding and implementation of the Verification Plus plan that CyberFox can provide, it really is only a 30 to 40-minute onboarding because it's just, you know, adding the pod into your PSA. It is connecting the API with your PSA as well so that it'll pull in all the contacts to our system. It's setting up maybe the GDAP policy with Authenticator so that this Authenticator button will be visible. And then also too, you might say, well, my PSA doesn't have accurate up-to-date phone numbers and emails necessarily. How do I get those phone numbers effectively? What our system will also allow you to do is either in bulk, you can go bulk, send contact update form, or obviously I won't do it in bulk because it's just going to send all my contacts in opt-in form. But you can select the contact you want. You can say send contact update form. How do you want to send this SMS or email? Long story short, just for the sake of the demo, I'll send it over text message so you can see it. But it's a nice branded way for you to send your clients. In this case, I sent a text message where they'll click on that link. It's a branded form to your MSP. Even everything we do as well, even the domains are going to be branded to your MSP. So there's not going to be any no reply at mspprocess.com kind of stuff. It'll all be you guys. It'll tell your client the phone number you have in the PSA on file. They can update or add a phone number to that, which will obviously update your PSA as well. And they have the ability to opt in or out of SMS. So if you have any clients that are in those states that, say, hey, you have to pay for our cell phones if you're going to have anything SMS related, they do have that ability to opt out of SMS. And am I seeing, are there some questions coming in the chat? Times get pricing, demo. Oh,
No.
this might be more CyberFox related. Okay, just poke me there, Tony, if any are.
Okay, I will. Oh, wait, there might be. Here's some questions coming in.
You know what? The Mr. Onboarding Specialist himself is here, so I might let Chris answer that one. Chris, do you mind answering Jerry there on the steps to set up each client that uses Duo and Microsoft Off?
Yeah, for sure. On the Duo side of things, guys, you end up creating a couple of what are called applications in the Duo admin panel to let us talk to each sub account that you have in your Duo environment, and then also to let us authenticate into each sub account where we actually find the users in question. So, depending on how many sub accounts you have in Duo, you'll be creating one application per sub account in the Duo environment, and then just giving those credentials. There's a URL and a API key and a token that you give to MSP process. It takes just kind of a minute per sub account, and you're off to the races. In comparison for Microsoft Authenticator, we do let you push our enterprise application one tenant at a time, or we can use the admin relationships that you guys have set up in your partner center to do that deployment in bulk, which is super nice. As long as you guys already have admin relationships set up that have the Microsoft Entra roles we would need, this is really easy. You're just creating an app registration in Azure, and magic happens. It's super great. Yeah. Good question, Jerry. Thank you very much. If you've got follow-on questions, feel free to ask. Um, Another good question related to Duo here, guys. I'll kind of keep chugging along. Albert, thanks for that question about having Duo on their own. We do support that as well. You can connect us to, let's say, your Duo environment that has all your sub accounts in it, and you can also connect us to a standalone Duo environment. If your customer already had a Duo environment that you guys are not managing under you as a sub account, you're managing it as a standalone, we can link to as many Duo environments as you guys want. Kenneth, you were asking about supporting the German language. We don't today support that. We do, for example, though, have our all of our templates that you guys can use for sending messages back and forth. Those are English by default, but honestly, you guys can customize them. Super easy to do. And so if you wanted to change those over to be German, Kenneth, you certainly could.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. And yeah, Chris, do you mind just monitoring that as I'm going here? Because I'm kind of back and
Yeah,
forth.
for
That
sure.
would be awesome. Thank you. Okay, great. So, I mean, we just showed you Duo, we showed you Microsoft. I don't need to show you all the different ways to verify. It's pretty much the same. One thing I will point out though, with SMS, what is unique to MSP process is a lot of these verification vendors out there, when you send that verification through or anything through SMS, it's a different phone number, and that number will be changing every time you send something through SMS. With MSP process, we actually will allow you guys to choose a dedicated phone number. So you can choose something in your area code. It'll belong to you guys. We'll do all the custom white labeled marketing material for your MSP that, educates your clients that we have verification now. We have secure data send and file share. We have tech verification. Here's why it's important. Here's how it works. Here's the phone number for Blue Wolf IT. Please add this on your phone as a contact because anytime we send you anything SMS related, it's always coming from that same phone number. So that's unique to us, that dedicated phone number. What's also unique to us here is we hide the code from the technician. And the reason we hide the code is we don't want technicians getting lazy and saying, Tony, I know you, you're good, and clicking verify when they didn't actually do anything, right? So we hide the code. The tech actually has to, if you send a code verification, they have to ask the client for it. The client reads it off. The tech types it in, they click verify. Now, codes, they're fine. You can see there's a Teams code, there's SMS, there's email code. I personally like links instead. So, for example, rather than sending an SMS link, why don't I send a Teams link to show you the next version of verification? But it's just like codes, except for when you send that verification across, it's sending a nice branded link. So they can click on that link instead of reading the code aloud. They click the link, pulls up a nice branded page. So it kind of gives the look and feel of the Authenticator apps, but it's through email, it's through Teams, it's through text message. They just click that validate button. And just while I'm already here in Teams, this is the other verification method that is also unique to MSP process, is giving you guys a little app that you can have in your client's Teams environment. It'll be essentially for you guys, it would just be the activity tab, and that's where you can send those verification codes to. And we're going to be like, this is relatively new. We're going to be opening the door to this to have more functionality, like maybe secure data send and file share sending through Teams. We're going to be adding in something I'll show you in a little bit here called technician verification. So this verify technician button will also be added into the activity tab so that if a client gets a phone call and they're claiming to be somebody from your MSP, the client can turn around, click that verify technician button, which I'll just do it. They'll click that little verify tech button. It'll provide the client with a code, but that code will also in your PSA be provided to the technician. So the technician can read the code off to the client, which will save to the ticket notes, which will send the client a confirmation back saying, thanks for verifying your technician at Blue Wolf IT. This is in fact Andrew. You're good to move on with the call, or whatever you want the message to say. And that same thing can be done through text message. Again, remember they got that saved number for your MSP on their phone. Part of our marketing will say, hey, if you're ever unsure, you can text pound verify to that number. It will text the client back a customizable message that says, hey, if your tech can't provide you this code, hang up, call the main office line. It could be a scam. Again, that code pops up in your PSA for the tech, logs to the ticket, sends the client a little confirmation back saying, thanks for verifying the identity of your technician. And tech verification, I mean, we have a patent pending and just getting wrapped up on this feature, so it is unique to MSP process. But the cool thing about that feature is, I mean, it's a newer concept, but what you have to realize is these bad actors, they're getting smart and they're saying, why are we targeting the trained IT professionals of a help desk? Let's go after the end user. Let's go find a Google review, a client testimony on their website or their LinkedIn of them saying how much they love their MSP. And then they're just spamming the end user and then calling them later, pretending to be a technician there to help them. So again, client training it'll come down to, but you might even say your law firms, your banks, your medical facilities, they'll be probably the early adopters on this. And then you'll find that clients that have just almost been burnt, or what I'd suggest with your technicians, every time you call out to your clients, I would be saying, hey, don't forget to verify me just to get it ingrained in your client's mind that this is something that should be happening. Did we have some questions coming in there, Chris, about us or?
Yeah, I can ask or answer the question from Jack. This is an added service. This is not currently part of your CyberFox service that you have with us, but you can reach out to your account manager and they can set you up with that.
Yep. And then, Albert, you asked a really good question around how does texting work if you already have SMS for your main phone number? What's really great there, because that's a really common scenario that we come across, is you can do a couple of things. We can give you a totally separate phone number, like Andrew mentioned, one that's in your area code or that matches whatever number sequence you want. Or you could also, there's three options here. Option number two is you can port your phone number into we use Twilio for hosting phone numbers. You can port your phone number into our Twilio account and then we'll take over the texting portion of it that way. The third option, which is what I think is best though, is if you guys have your own phone number, Albert, hosted in a Twilio account of your own, you can then link us to your Twilio environment. We'll take over the SMS portion of things, which is great, and you guys will still maintain both ownership of the number and control over the voice line call side of things. That's what a lot of our clients end up doing is they just create a quick Twilio account, they move their phone number into that Twilio account, and then they link it to us. And that way we can take over the texting part of things, but you guys maintain ownership of that number. And like I said, also ownership of the voice configuration side of things. I think that was all the questions that had came up just since the last time we checked, Andrew. If you want to keep going, please do.
Absolutely. I
Oh,
think someone's come in.
sorry, one other one just came in. Jerry was just asking, what is the backend system you're using for the secure file share? So the entire platform is based in Azure. We are using Azure storage accounts for storing that file. It's encrypted both at rest and during transit. It's all based in Azure using their best practices, their security software, their encryption technologies, which is great.
I should point out too, we're also SOC 2 Type 2 compliant as well. And if anyone before getting going with this needs access to our security center to get all that security white paper stuff, we can invite you in, of course, as well. Um, that's a great segue into secure data send and file share. So this is another thing we hear all the time. I say, how do you send a password or file or a document or something off to your client securely? Is it a PW push? Is it an encrypted email? 9 times out of 10, it seems to be encrypted emails. And the nice thing about us and MSP Process being able to offer this from within your ticket is it all gets tracked and logged to the ticket notes. And it's not tracking and logging the exact information like the password you sent, but that it was sent, that the client accessed it before maybe it expired on them. And you can see here, secure data center, I could huck in whatever I want. I could generate the password from here if I like. I can set expirations, like here it's locked down to 7 days, single use click link, etc. And then all you're going to do is decide how do I want to fire it off to the client. In this case, why don't I just send it as a text message? Client will get that text message again, coming in from the same phone number as everything else with that branded link. So the client clicks the link. It logs in the PSA now that the client was sent the data. And then once they click the reveal data button, now it logs that they actually accessed the password and the link expired. So they have that single use access link in this case where they can receive the data. And then we have the reverse to that as well, where what if I want to get a password from a client? What if I want credit card information or something along those lines? You can do the same thing where in this case, it's asking for information and you can set up even templated ask requests like I need a password. Cool. You can lock it down just like secure data send. How do I want to send it? Let's do SMS again. Text message will come in from the same number. They click the link. The difference this time is it's asking the question for what it is we need, and the client types it in. Test password 123. And they click submit. And now your technician will be able to one time, in this case, it's a one time, access that password or credit card or whatever it is the client sent over to your technicians. And only the tech that requested it will be able to access this the one time. And again, it's not logging this data to your ticket notes, just that you requested something and the client sent something back. So you got the timestamp on there on your ticket. And I mean, that pretty self-explanatory. You can drag and drop files in here as well. I will mention as well that we're working on integrations with tools like IT Glue and Hoodoo and some of these big documentation and password managers as well. So long-term goal is to be able to give you icons where you can click on those various tools, pull in the files, the documents, the KBs, the passwords from your password manager or your documentation tool so that you can send it right from here to the clients. The last thing I'll mention here as well, actually, sorry, there's a few more things, but we also do have the ability to, and we call it manager approvals. It's in its earlier stages, but it is something we're going to be doing some big enhancements on in Q1. But essentially, it's allowing you to also do a manager approval. A client calls in, they're asking for something they don't have permission for, and rather than you having to hang up, call the manager, get approval, call them back, we're making it so that you can select another contact from that org. And the enhanced version will actually be its own section where it'll lay out the contacts. What are the approval contact for? What sort of approval templated forms do we want to send? What sort of workflows do we want to trigger? But long story short, I'm on with Tony. Tony needs a new monitor. I say, I got to ask your boss for permission. I can select your boss on here. I can put a note here as to what I want to send off to Chris Reed. Chris gets the pop-up on his phone and he can approve or deny it. So the idea is we can quickly get that approval while on the phone. Or even a case of, hey, I don't have any way to verify myself. Can you verify me through my manager? This would be another great use case for getting a quick verification sent over through another contact, of course. Um, but yeah, so everything we just talked about, that is we call it the Verification Plus plan. It's kind of our security focused plan. Get really focused around verification, secure data send, and tech verification. That is what CyberFox can add to your account today, and it can be all through your CyberFox billing and your contracts there. They've got all the incentives they can send you over. Like we give you like as a CyberFox partner, waived onboarding and a free month and your custom marketing material and a whole bunch of little things like that. And then it's a price per technician model. So really all your rep at CyberFox will need to know is how many technicians do you want access into this little pod in your PSA? So you just let them know again, they can get you whatever the pricing is that they're offering over there. Um, what I do want to point out, those two things we're working on too, which also will allow CyberVox to resell. Um, um, Self-serve password reset will be a big one. We're going to allow you guys both from the pod to actually have reset client password, unlock client account, reset MFA, send client password reset link. And we're talking anything Active Directory, Office 365, local accounts as well. We're going to allow you guys from the pod to do those resets once the client is verified. It'll open up that little password reset component of the pod. What we'll also be doing with that is allowing your clients to, whether it be through calling in, through maybe like a chatist type assistant, maybe it be through a link you put on your website that can verify your client, then or allow your client to reset or unlock their own accounts from your website. There'll be lots of different options and we're almost done that functionality, so it is something coming soon, which is pretty exciting. The other thing we're working on right now is privilege password rotation so that you guys will be able to have your domain admins, your local admins, your Azure and Office, your service accounts, and all those break glass accounts. We don't want to see you dealing with static privilege passwords. So we're those same agents that we're going to be putting on the domain controller, the enterprise app on the tenant, the agent on the local machine for the SSPR will allow you to do the privilege account password rotation so that every time you go into IT Glue or Hoodoo or one of these password managers we'll integrate with, you'll see in the activity bar, it'll say MSP process rotated your password at midnight last night. And then you'll be able to set them up on various rotation intervals so that, again, your passwords are always rotating and not static moving forward. And it'll all be stuff CyberFox will be able to offer you. So look for the self-serve password reset coming out, and I won't put words in my product guy Chris's mouth, but I think he was saying about a month, let's say before end of year, and then privileged password rotation. We're looking for early Q1 for that release as well. So if you're looking for that functionality, look no further. They'll be able to offer it to you as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Andrew. Does anyone have any other questions? Anything we can help you with? You can either put it in the chat or chime in. Will CyberFox also offer the Connect plan if we want this later?
Great question, Kenneth. So that is something we are working out with the higher powers at CyberFox. Right now, CyberFox will be able to offer you the security and verification, the password rotation, and the SSPR. That's just like we just started this partnership with these guys. So we're just working out ways to figure out maybe they can offer you the Connect plan or some of these other plans a little bit later once we cross the T's and dot the I's. Worst case scenario is we'll be able to turn that on the MSP process side. So by partnering with CyberFox for the verification plan, we're not gonna turn around and say, well, you can't have these other plan options. We'll just turn them on for you through MSP process ourselves.
All right. And then
That's fine.
Albert is assuming Password Boss might be on the list for Password Manager.
Great question. Because of this partnership with CyberFox, obviously there'll be a big focus on integrating with as many CyberFox related things as possible. Figuring out how can we tie CyberFox into our pod? How can we tie MSP process into the CyberFox platform? All that will definitely be high on the priority list.
Perfect.
Just
And
for
then Daniel, is the request for end user info only through SMS?
Good question. So, you actually have SMS and email. Obviously, I mean, I showed SMS so you could see it on my cell phone there. But you might not have their phone number. So, of course, we had to also offer it through email because you'll have all those contacts emails. You'll send it through the email. It'll look exactly like it did there via SMS. I mean, I could even just send it here real quick. Would it make sense to have it sent through Teams, Chris? Or no one's ever asked me to have the opt-in forms come through Teams, but would that be something that makes sense?
Yeah, it certainly could, and that's something we could absolutely look into, guys. One of the things, Daniel, this is a great question. We hear a lot from you guys around how you want to interact with Microsoft Teams, both to talk to your customers who are maybe in Teams, or maybe to interact with internally over Teams as you're talking about tickets. And so we've got a lot of different Microsoft Teams related things on the go, Daniel, for sure.
I should ask Albert as well while he was on the topic. Albert, do you keep all your privilege account passwords in Password Boss, or are they scattered throughout your IT Glue or your Hoodoo or your Password Boss, and you kind of keep different privilege account passwords in different sources? If you are still here. Oh, there we go. Gotcha. Requires through SMS integration to cause pop-up on the end user's device via the RMM would be great. Gotcha. Makes sense.
And Daniel, just while Andrew's reading that, your suggestion of like, hey, having an integration that leverages maybe a pop-up tool that you already have through your RMM on that end user's PC. Great suggestion. It would obviously depend on what RMM you're using, what kind of integration points they would allow a vendor like us to have. That'd be a really cool conversation to have offline, though, is just to see what else we could do in that context because it's just a link we're sending, and so that wouldn't be very difficult to pass over to you. The question is just how could your pop-up tool that you have through your RMM show that to the end user? Easy peasy.
Oh, I think that's it for today, guys. But we
Um,
appreciate you inviting us on and everybody that joined. And again, you can add me on LinkedIn or go through your CyberFox rep and we can have a chat anytime.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.